Welcome back to the Pet Air Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the power of team collaboration. So, naturally, in nostalgia, I want to tell you guys about my own wake up call. A few years ago, I got pregnant. So, 8 years now. I was definitely overjoyed, but I really quickly realized that I was so intertwined in my business that I had really little space left for anything meaningful to come into my life. So I hadn't really allowed space for additional family members or for my well-being or for even a new chapter to become a mom. I had really focused on getting this business off the ground, making it successful, and then really proving to myself that I could be a business owner and I was nowhere near returning to my previous corporate job. And I had unknowingly created a business that took up a lot of space in my life. There was no room for anything unexpected, no room for joys of parenthood or even the rest or self care if I needed to. And so when I became pregnant, it actually hit me really hard because I had to realize that my life was shifting. But I also had to realize that I had not properly prepared myself for this transition. My business was built around me being cemented in the day to day operations. And yes, I was very much suffocating, but I had not even realized this up into this point. I honestly thought I could really keep going at this pace and I would get by for another, 3 to 5 years or so without making any drastic or significant changes. When I became pregnant, that was my realization that I had to make a change and I had to make it within the next 9 months. For most entrepreneurs, this is a big thing for people who are currently feeling burnt out or overwhelmed or stuck in the grind. I have definitely been there, and we must prep our customers for team collaboration. Even if you're the only person currently in your business, you want to start taking on the team collaboration model. The reason being is because currently you're creating a business entirely run around you. Customers are naturally forming a bond with you, they're forming a connection with you, and you're also having the limited belief happening, whether you know it or not, that your business is great because you're the one doing it. I was also in this place where I thought I had to be the one doing everything or being the one doing the what we call the big jobs or the ones doing like the main things that need to be done for the business. And I was not running a business that could truly run without me. When you first start a business, it's easy to get caught in the trap of doing everything yourself. You're answering emails, handling customer inquiries, you're managing your team or yourself. You're doing all the work alone. You're used to you wearing all the hats because let's be real, in the beginning, that's all that we have is just us. But what ends up happening is we're building a cage around us where we're the only person that actually can unlock the doors. I see it happening over and again with myself included, that as business owners, we become the glue holding everything together. The thought of a team collaboration is really nowhere in sight because we're thinking that it's our business, we're personally responsible, we're personally indebted, we're personally liable. And so that personal becomes the cage that is now our business. We're the only ones that can truly know all the processes that we want. We're the only ones with the vision. We're the only ones that can talk to the customers. We're the only ones who can understand like how it's really done. And that's only because we haven't done the necessary work to make that change. You know what happens? The same thing that happened to me. We get stuck. So we really want to think about that over time, this is a natural progression of us losing more and more freedom and becoming cemented in our business. And that, my friend, is how we feel burnt out. We get overwhelmed. The business, once we love, feels like the weight that we can't put down. And we created a system that only works when we're in the middle of it, opposed to being able to enjoy our lives as business owners. When you implement the team collaboration, your customers are now getting used to the idea that it's not only you. Your business is a system. Your customers are hiring a system. They're not hiring you as the owner. Breaking out of the cage is you preparing your customers for the shift in the collaboration. This is something most business owners overlook. I can definitely say when I was at this point in my business, I overlooked it. I had a team from the very first start, but they all knew that the owner was readily available in the background if anything should happen. So we think that because we're training our team, like that's enough. But our customers don't necessarily trust our team and they don't always feel comfortable with them because they know they can always have us in the back burner. So, how do you do this? How do you make this shift from solo player to team player? And it starts by making your customers comfortable interacting with your team members from day one. Let them know that your business is built on a strong team and that every team member is equipped to help them at the same level as you would. It's about setting up expectation very early on so the customer really never gets hooked on the idea that they have owner access. So you want to go from like retiring the phrase my company when you're talking to business owners, vendors, new customers, new clients. You want to stop telling your business story as my company, my this, my that, because that makes you look very individual. You want to maybe stop signing all the emails with your name. So that would be like Natasha, sincerely Natasha, and everything, versus using something like Team Automated CEO, sincerely Team Automated CEO. That way, the customer feels the shift in the small things you do that makes large changes. I would say also continuing to respond to private text. I know that one may be hard because in the beginning you kind of set up that chat text line with them, but you want to create like a copy paste. What I did is I made a note in my iPhone and it would say auto reply dot dot. This line is no longer accessed by a human. Please see, portalinformation.com to speak directly to our team. So that was like a copy paste message under auto reply. And so every time someone would text me, I would send the auto reply directly back to them. And that would be kind of the end of that. That kind of helps me like pull back and be able to like enjoy my days off, enjoy being a potential parent, enjoy picking up a hobby. Again, letting customers know that I'm not always there. If you're the only person in your business right now, you may be blasting your face all over your marketing materials. It might be you. And that's great. We definitely want to know who you are and your owner's story. But consider using like stock images of different cultures and backgrounds, ages. So again, your customers see different things, inclusivity in your business. You can do that with stock images outside of yourself. So I would say your customers need to feel equally confident in your team's ability as they do yours, as we said earlier. That's why we're creating this clear, consistent system so that customers can like distinctly see that there's a two. There's a breakup between the two. I was just talking to a client the other day and she just started her own property management company. And she had sent her tenant like the Zelle payment. She had sent her personal name on the lease agreement. And I'm like, listen, you're dead. Okay. Moving forward, you're dead. You need to build out a company name, a company email, company signature, company bank account so your customer knows the difference because she's now texting him before he even moved in, giving him information on when to get the keys, giving him details about the unit, tips and tricks. And I'm like, listen, you're opening that weird gray line between you and tenant already because you have not set things up. So I was able to help her create an addendum where she was able to change the name on lease agreement, change the payment details. So we're no longer taking Zelle, going to the business bank account, and change all the contacts. So if the customers had repairs or issues with the unit, they knew they could email a support@management.com versus texting her individually. You see how when you set up that onboarding with your client or customer very early on, where it's not the customer bothering you, it's really what we allowed and how we showed them that we want to be communicated, and they're literally just following it. So it's very important to set up that system from day one. Whether it's you, a manager, a frontline employee, anyone that's interacting with your business, you want them to know they're going to receive the same level of care, service, expertise, praise, or conflict, no matter who is involved. Okay. So if they're now answering phones for you or handling client questions or requests, your team needs to know exactly what to do without you stepping in. So what does that look like? Creating a training portal for your team so they know where to go, what to say. Do you save replies, save messages, scripts? so they can speak in the same voice, tone, language as your company. Very simple to do, seems intense, but not so much. Okay. And so here's the real kicker. When you set this up, you can just leave it because now you know if your team is messaging you the way that you've allowed, they can end up going into your portal and finding exactly what to do. That makes them feel more empowered, more control, and more confident in the position that they're holding. You need to be able to communicate with your customers constantly, letting them know that your team operates and you trust what they're doing. You can't expect them to trust the team if you don't, in fact, show that you trust the team. So create the training portal, show your team where to go so your team can do a great job and say exactly what you would have said to the customer. We must not jump in on the team's back. And so, for instance, if you have like an issue, I know a lot of us will say, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And like, let me figure this out right now. And we instantly kind of take the defense of the customer. You want to change that around and let the customer know, listen, I'm going to do a full investigation and I'll get back to you within 24 hours so I can see exactly what happened, be able to talk to the staff member when they're back in business hours, and I'll let you know like how we're going to take care of this. Now it feels different. So when you come to your team member, you're letting them know, hey, so and so said this. Can you give me some more context so I can close the investigation? It's not attack the customer or attack the team member. You're letting the customer see and your team see that we're all playing on the same field right now. This really lets you kind of get the full picture and like no one is really on defense. For me, I have a totem pole personally where it's the company, it's myself, it's my staff, and then it's the customer. So if anything happens and shit hits the fan, my team knows that I'm always going to have their back. Even when they're wrong, I will speak with the customer and let them know, like, I'm sorry that happened. I did go ahead and inform the team of what we do moving forward, and it's been taken care of. It will never happen again. I really value the people that we have within our corporation because, again, we personally handpicked them. You know, we told the customer that this is the person that I chose to do the job. So we go back and look and act like, oh, this person's incompetent. Then we're showing the customer losing trust with them that my pick wasn't the best pick. So you want to be very careful how you handle, situations and conflicts because you're actually maybe doing more harm than good. But in that intent, you really want to fall back on your policies and protocols. I find that making my customers know my protocols and my policies along with my team, they can literally just follow exactly what's in the service agreement. You have a well-written service agreement. In every single paragraph, it's going to tell the customer exactly how things are handled as they arise. And then now you're only training your team on exactly what you promised the customer. Seems simple, right? When you build your business with the right system and prepare your customer to collaborate with your team, you now create space. Space for you to have a personal life, space for you to grow, space for new opportunities, space for more profit, more rest, and better scalability. I had to learn that the hard way. It wasn't until I made these changes that I was able to really step back, actually experience the joy of being a mother, experience the joy of stepping away from my business without fear that everything would fall apart the moment that I clocked out. I had to learn to trust the system that, in fact, I personally created with the training portals being available to act for clarity and as a tiebreakers. And so really, guys, this transformation was incredible, not just for me, but for the entire business. That confidence that I knew that things were structured properly on the front end and the back end. It was running independently. It did not require me to grow. It did not require me for oxygen. And that's really what we all want as a business owner. We do not want to be cemented or caged into a business. Most of us get into this for freedom, a business that scales with customers who get it, teams who feel empowered, and without draining you, the single employee. And so if you're feeling burnt out right now or overwhelmed or like your business is taking up too much space in your life, you want to ask yourself this. Have you prepared your customers for a team collaboration? Have you set boundaries with your business that allows it to run without you? If not, it's time to make those changes. It's time to stop being the glue and start building a team and a business that can thrive independently without you, no owner dependence. So it's not as easy, but trust me, it can be, and it is worth it when you just start. I promise you, when you start, it will start to feel easy. I am living proof. As a first time business owner, I was able to scale my business and completely remove myself within the first 24 months of operating. It is very possible. It just takes intention that you can create a business that supports your life and not the other way around. Okay. So thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and don't forget to share with a friend. Sharing is caring. You can follow us on the Pet Air Podcast on Instagram or Automated CEO Everything as our company brand for more tips, insights, and how to run a business that runs without you. Until next time, stay balanced, stay thriving, and let's keep building businesses that don't burn us